Drink. Hey, everyone! Welcome, everybody, to episode 42 of the Crafty Boys. This week, we're going to drink beer and talk about it, and hopefully have an informed opinion, and you'll worship us even more than you did last week. I want to welcome back Locke to the show because he's been gone for some time, and we forgot what he looks like. So, hi, Locke.
Hi, Locke.
He's back in his bunker where he's got that Zordon sort of look going on.
He needs some lighting, is what he needs.
Nah, he doesn't need lighting. He looks fine.
You know what he should almost do? He should almost put up his hands like this on the screen, and he can be like the dude from Superman, you know.
Oh, like in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, the Phantom Zone. Yeah.
This week, the beer that it was blah, blah.
Yeah, he was doing it. I was pointing it out.
Oh crap! Sorry, man. Do it again. Do it again. There we go. And say something disparaging about Superman and his lineage. You will all die is pretty much his whole phrase. Or kneel to Zod. The beer this week is actually kind of going back in time for me. Thank you.
Get a new drummer.
Unlike our experience with Piper's Pale Ale some time ago, which we had fond memories of, and then we tried it and realized that our memories are full of shit. So, this week, we're diving into yet another beer from the past, which I remember was a holiday favorite of mine because you could only get it at the time in bomber bottles. Now you can get it in these things. It's called the Hermannator. And it's a seasonal beer from the Vancouver Island Brewery. And, of course, it is a really decent beer because I had one earlier today and realized it's still good. So there you go, at least for me anyway.
That was in-depth reporting.
I know. What else? I mean, it's basically a dark beer. It's it's not quite a stout. It's kind of, I sort of think of it as like a dark lager, a dark ale, something in there. But it is. God, is this stuff good? I have to say that I haven't had one in a number of years, and it was like going back in time and just it cascaded. Not quite as good as Guinness, but it was good. So, what did you guys think? Because I know that all of you are totally snapped out of your gourds by now. I expect. Dave looks like it. I'm gone. I mean, just look at us. I mean, we're the red eyes and all that kind of stuff. But I think we should move on to the pour, and I'll shut up. So
all right.
So I'm going to crack mine open with my bally penis.
I'm pouring mine.
And I'm using this thing wrong. That's what she said.
So, like Shane said, this used to come in the large bomber bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Back when bomber bottles, you couldn't get anything in bomber bottles. This is sort of like you would see these on an end cap in your local liquor store. They were about $5 a piece, and it was really good. It was quite different. It was a seasonal at a time when there was no such thing as seasonal beers. It was the first time I'd ever heard of a beer being only available for 3 months out of the year. It came out about just before Christmas because it was the only seasonal thing around here. It just went like that, like it went like hotcakes. Nowadays, there's lots of seasonal beers. There's lots of stuff that's in bomber bottles. So they've moved it to being in a 6-pack, and it stays around a little bit longer, but it's still, you can only find it for maybe 4 months of the year.
I think part of that is the manufacturer is complicated. It's an Ice Bock, which means it's like an ice beer. So not the sort of thing that they're going to be doing a huge run of because there's an extra step in there.
They do store this beer in a cold environment for 3 months before they put it out on store shelves. So I mean that's quite an investment.
It gets aged a bit as well as as was the process for the eggs. The flavor of this sucker. Now I'm going to try something because I'll be honest, I've had 5 of them now. This is my 6th. And the simple fact of the matter is I've been drinking them out of the bottle because they're fine out of the bottle. Nothing wrong with them. You know, some beers, you try to drink them out of the bottle, it's too frothy. Like a lot of your Belgians, that ain't going to work, you know? There's some others, you know, where it just sort of, it seems that you want appropriate glassware. But what is the appropriate glassware for the Hermannator? And I actually don't have a solid answer. I don't think they recommend anything on the bottle. I haven't seen anything. So I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna put some in a sort of a roundy tulipy glass, and I'm gonna put some in a kind of
a mug,
kind of a glass, and
A mug. A mug.
I'm already like toss that in. You see all that froth. So that's all carbonation that makes for head on the drink. It's sort of, you know, the kind of thing that you might want out of a port. Or a porter, rather. Sorry, I'm getting the wine glass getting mixed up there. But this would be something more like how you would drink your sort of your Belgianese. And I like the fact that when you put it in a round glass, it maintains a bit more of the effervescence, right? So it's a little bit sharper, tastes a little bit more like a Belgian when you do it this way, if you were to put it in a glass. Now, like I said, bottle, I liked it out of the bottle. And I gotta say, I'm not a malty guy particularly. I go sort of more hops, but for a malty beer, it's pretty dry, especially for an ice beer. This isn't unbearably sweet. It's not over the top saccharine in its tones. There's a little bit of molasses, maybe a little bit of carbon on that flavor, but it's not like it's not.
It's less sweet than I remember it.
Now maybe that's because they've over the years had time to work the recipe a little, but
yeah.
But it's good, isn't it?
It's fantastic.
Whether it's grown with us or whether it's still the same thing and we're still enjoying it, I don't know. But I gotta say, I'm enjoying this.
I tell you, I get Hermannator every year. I at least have a 6-pack of it, and I remember a couple years ago I was thinking that I didn't enjoy it as much as I had in the past, but this year and last year, it's as good as ever. I'm really enjoying it. I look forward to when Hermannator comes out every year and being able to pick it up and open it up and have a swig. It's a good beer.
Love to it and take it home to my mother. And
yes, make it a Sunday dinner roast. And with like potatoes and gravy and all the fixins. And
does anybody else here think there's maybe just a tiny note of plum pudding with brandy in the flavor? You know.
I have to say I'm not detecting that.
No.
No.
But it would, right? You could have this next to it, and it would be
absolutely
good match. Yeah.
This beer goes with everything. Turkey.
Well, I wouldn't. Well, it goes with a typical Christmas holiday fare, I would say. Dave, do you have it?
Oh, of course.
Well, let's get your input.
Well, the first time I had this was at Shane's place, and Todd brought some over. This was like 4 or 5 years ago now, and I do not remember liking it at the time. But that was before I was actually drinking much in the way of beer. So it wasn't, one of the flavors I was generally after. But surprisingly, I'm really liking this. It doesn't have the bite that a lot of beers do, which I like. That sort of hot, bitter kick in the balls, you know.
Yeah.
As you guys know, I'm not a monster fan of that sort of
Right.
you
You're a
know,
little bit more of a
thing.
malty fan.
I would say so. And I think this fills the bill. It's nice, it's smooth, it's easy to drink, actually.
And that's the difference for me. I never used to really feel that this was an easy drinking beer, but I'd say this is easy drinking. So I don't know if they've changed it over the years, or if I've changed, or
Let's be clear. It's easy drinking at a whopping 9.5%er.
and having said that, that's what the label says. In reality, I've heard it's actually a bit higher than that. It could be closer to 12%.
Whoa, dude, that's illegal shit, that is. Can you actually get away
Now,
with that?
well, I've heard, and this is only a rumor, um, that the Hermannator is, because it really does pack a powerful punch as far as, like getting gooned and stuff like that.
Small batch of anything, there's going to be some variability, and it's possible that they're, from year to year, they may have had some variance in alcohol. Look, I mean, yeah, that's the reality of small batch. But in any event, I don't think anybody's going to be knocking back a 9.5% and going, oh, but I should be driving. I'm only drinking 9.5%. Well, you know.
It's not like I'm drinking a bottle of wine.
Now, I wanted to point out that the Hermannator, I just learned yesterday, won some distinction at the Tastings.com World Beer Championships. It won a gold medal, received a 94-point rating, which was one mark short of the prestigious platinum rating. So hats off to, or tip of the glass to Hermannator for that distinction. That's actually quite something.
Now, I want one of you to tell me whether you know anything about this. Does the name, so Hermannator comes from another Vancouver Island product called, what is it, Herman's?
Herman's Dark Lager.
Herman's
Dark
Lager? Yeah.
Yeah, which at the time was actually considered to be one of the top 10 beers in the world at one point. I'm sure it isn't now.
Now, do you know who Herman was? Does anybody have any biographical details on Herman?
Well, I don't really have. I know Herman was one of the original brewmasters at Vancouver Island Brewery. Beyond that, I don't know much more about him. And actually, the Hermannator was created, and I'm getting this information from Beer Advocate. It says here that Herman would brew the Hermannator during the holiday as a unique gift to his closest friends and customers, and it's kind of blown up from that to being what it is now. So it's just a variation on the Herman's Dark Bavarian.
Okay, yeah. Now, the one other possibility, because you guys have been to Herman's Jazz Club in Victoria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the thing that crossed my mind is, has there ever been a tie-in between Herman's and Herman's Jazz Club?
Not that I'm aware of.
There should be, because that would make total sense to me.
Yeah, unless, I mean...
If we ever do a live episode from a venue, let's go to Herman's Jazz Club and get some Hermannators.
Yeah, we'd like to get some Herman. We don't sell Hermannators. We're leaving!
I don't know, Jazz.
Cocktails. Those are arranged in advance. They'll be like, oh yeah, no, the tie-in with Hermannators. We have the agent from Hermannators on site to ceremonially open the box of Hermanators.
I don't know that Herman from Herman's Jazz Club is the same Herman from Vancouver.
No, it'll be a different Herman for sure, but it'll be the meeting of the Hermans.
Right. All right.
We just have to find a server named Herman,
Coming
or a dish with a Herman in it.
We'll have to get like another host that's named Herman.
I'm sorry, Dave, you're out.
Munster.
It won't just be the Hermanator, it'll be a Hermanation.
And with that, we're done for the season.
Yeah. Yikes.
Let's all drink some pipers.
We could get Herman's Hermits to play us out. Well,
I'm just gonna
that was
stand
going
here.
too far,
go
Dave.
the whole way. If we're going the whole damn way, boys.
We were making a nice little joke, and you had to take it too far.
We're doing a podcast right now?
What?
I had no idea that we're actually doing a podcast. Look at that. Oh, I'm dead. Thank you very much for that. I gotta say, the best part about the Hermannator beer is that I never actually drank the Herman's Dark Lager until I had the Hermannators. And that, again, the whole Christmas thing was... I remember, actually, didn't we have, at some point in the past, didn't we, go out of our way to get Hermannators because they went, say, I don't know, 15 years ago, they would just disappear like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I remember doing that. Getting your Hermanators was, I think, at least occasionally arranged at Alzoo's, was it?
Yeah, I remember actually going to Alzoo's and giving out...
Christmas Eve.
What?
On Christmas Eve, we would always get together
I
at
heard
Alzoo's.
Christmas Steve. I'm like, who's Christmas Steve?
You remember Christmas Eve? He was...
I was like, Christmas Steve?
Took over for St. Nick.
Santa Claus died in 2000. Ever since then, it's been Christmas Steve. Alright. That's like Disco Stu's lost cousin.
Little dispossessed junkie kids. They all rely on Steve.
That's a comic book character.
Goes around this Christmas Steve that steals the numbers.
This dude shows up with a big sack and he starts handing out bomber bottles of Hermanators. Hey everybody, it's Christmas Steve here. I got you some beer. Actually, Locke and I were talking about that yesterday, about the Christmas Eve thing that we used to do at Alzoo's way back in the day. And I kind of miss it, man. I kind of miss going there and getting Hermanator bomber bottles from everybody. But, so I think we have to revive that tradition at some point. I don't know how.
Except for Alzoo's is gone.
Well, yeah. Which, funny you mentioned this, is that this morning... went out to the boot camp, finished the boot camp, and then was thinking about the whole lack of a Christmas Eve event. And unfortunately, Locke, when you're leaving on the 23rd, I think.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about doing this place in Vancouver called Lucy's All Night Diner or something, which is at 12th and Main Street. And it's one of about 6 places in Vancouver that's open 24 hours. So we may revive it. You never know. It would be kind of fun.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. So anyway, but that was part of that whole experience was actually, and this is what I was kind of leading up to, is that I'm somewhat disappointed that the Hermanator comes in a regular-sized beer bottle. Because to me, just having a history of having had Hermanator for a long time, it's kind of lost some of its allure. It's lost that specialness to it. It's lost, you could only get it in a certain size. You could only get it at a certain time of year. And I think those two things together was interesting. But having it in a 6-pack I don't know. You somehow lose some of that. Just to me, anyway. But what do you guys think?
I
think
agree.
I think that when it comes out, it should come out in a bottle that looks like the statue of Venus. Yeah. Like sort of mid 18th century, maybe 17th, 18th century statue of Venus. Like one of the ones that, if it's one of the ones with the broken arms, ultimately that's fine because that would make it an awkward shaped bottle anyway, right?
I agree. Actually, I think that is actually one of the better ideas that we've had. Screw bomber bottles.
Something equally ornate, because the truth is, this is a product which, if it came in a fancier bottle, would get probably the accolades that I would give it today, right here now. I think there's a lot of other players on the field now. I think, over the last 20 years, how many new breweries are there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People who have delivered something that's unusual and kind of great over and over and over as a tradition every year. Wow. Yeah, Hermannator.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing I really am kind of missing, because now that we've sampled, probably, as Alan was thinking and doing the numbers, since we began, we've probably done about 52 different beers or something. And the interesting thing is that none of us, I don't think, have ever said anything about the actual delivery of the beer. We all, of course, accept that we have these bottles that are brown. They protect the beer from UV rays somewhat and that kind of thing. But the actual specialness of a lot of the beers that we remember, like the Piper's experience from the same brewery, we remembered fond things about it because it was a beer that we kind of went to. But then we tried it later, a few months back, and we thought, our taste buds remember a beer that is nothing like this. It was not anything special anymore. We'd lost that. Because either the beer changed and we just, they changed how they were making it, or maybe we just had not had enough experience at that time of tasting different, experiencing different beers and expanding our palates. But there's just something about the seasonal beer, and because there's every year now, every brewery has some seasonal thing attached to them, and I think that this one just had a special place, and we don't, really, and they've thrown that away. They've taken something that was really cool. I mean, actually, but here's the thing. I don't remember when they changed to the 6-pack or even the smaller bottles. Do you guys remember when that happened?
Yeah, it happened probably about 10 years ago, actually. But I will point out that Hermannator was available for Vancouver Island Brewery's 30th anniversary, which was last year. Hermannator was available all year long in the bomber bottle.
What?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes,
Well,
it was available all last year in the bomber bottle. Now,
yeah.
getting back,
It was, like a statue of Venus, but
getting back to Locke's point about the packaging, though, I think that's a good point. I don't think Vancouver Island Brewery is having any problem selling out their product as they're presenting it now. So I don't think that there's any kind of impetus for them to change the packaging at all, because it's just all it's going to do is increase their costs. But if they were
just for fun, did you know that Storm Brewing has released a version of their Flanders Sour that comes in a special packaging? It's a special packaging. I don't know. Everybody was kind of gaga for special packaging. Just working in. It's a thing, right? Storm Brewing have done a version of their Flanders Sour, which limited edition costs something like $250 a bottle, or something outrageous like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So is there power in the special bottle? Apparently, there's power in the special bottle. Is it power that is, generally speaking, power over me? No. Admittedly, I don't care.
But is the power just in the special bottle? I think power can be found in other ways.
I would like to believe that they pick the best of the best of.
I think what could work for
bottles.
Hermannator is, if we take an example with Steam Whistle. Steam Whistle for the holidays came out with a ceramic stein
Mm-hmm.
that comes in a box, and it comes with 2 cans of Steam Whistle beer, and it's a gift pack. And I think it was $20 in BC liquor stores. I think if Vancouver Island Brewery wanted to go with something like that with the Hermannator, I think they would sell a lot more of them. Having said that, I don't think they're having any problem selling what they.
I'm not saying they should sell more or less of them. I'm just saying that they could potentially sell 5 or 10 of them for $200-$300 a piece.
Yeah, possibly.
But
you know what? I would pay more.
Beer is good art.
If I was getting
pay money for it.
Yeah, I would pay a premium price if I was getting, say, 2 bottles, not bomber bottles, just regular bottles, with a stein, a ceramic stein, like Steam Whistle is doing. And I think their steins have sold out here locally, because they were selling them at the BC liquor stores, and I see it's not on their website anymore, so they must be sold out. Because I was actually looking at that. I mean, I don't need a stein. I've got beer glasses and stuff, but I mean, it looks so cool. Maybe I'll get one for Christmas as a gift.
Segway. Good segue.
So, what can we get the beer lovers for Christmas?
Okay, number 1 championship answer. Should we all say it together?
Beer.
Beer. I think that's an easy answer. It fits in a Santa can fit it in the stocking, and
now what's some of the things that go well with the appreciation of good beer? Diverse and yet effective glassware.
Well, as we learned earlier this year, especially when we had that cucumber beer from Steamworks, the flavor changed dramatically when we poured it out of the bottle and into a glass. So yeah, I mean, barware is very important to the beer drinker. I don't think it can be understated. And there's different kinds of glasses and barware. So I mean, it's good to have a good selection. But what else?
I actually have a really good thing that I have not been brave enough to buy. Okay. But there is a from the this is a Facebook post that I stumbled across a few weeks ago. But it is a bottle opener. And it got me thinking about special bottle openers. Like, I've got this, silly little one, which is a wooden penis. But there's a whole bunch of other things you can do surrounding beer consumption when it comes to, I mean, the simple thing is the bottle opener. How many different types of bottle openers are there? They all do the same thing. Locke has showed me how, he takes his eyelid and, like, pulls the thing out. It's amazing. But the component I'm thinking about is that this particular bottle opener was the Millennium Falcon. And basically the whole thing is they're giving them essentially away for free. But you pay for
shipping and handling.
So I thought, well, for $25 I could get 3 of them and it would be fine and give them away as gifts. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff and there's things around that I think are interesting. Like, there's the bottle openers. I actually saw a beer decanter. Why? But there's also different glasses, of course, because you have things from, glasses like this that are meant for beer. But of course, there's a whole variety of different glasses for beer. Yard glasses, which are 6 beers in a glass kind of thing.
Well, there's boot glasses you can get.
Boot glasses, yes, of course. So there's all kinds of cool things you could get for the beer lover in your family. Now, the other side of that is that you can actually have David's asleep. You can have the
It just looks like it.
oh, it's your webcam. Oh, I see. But there was other stuff
Not very
about
well lit.
nice. Other stuff about basically you could have a like a beer subscription service. I've seen a couple of these around where you get a unique beer a month or something. So I don't know. There's all kinds of cool stuff out there that I think people don't think about because they just end up buying them beer. Now, which there's nothing wrong with buying a beer lover beer. Let me put that out there right now. Not one thing. Beer is welcome. Unique beers are welcome. Standard beers that you drink all the time, as long as you get a 2-4 of that, you're cool. So there's things that can be delivered. But this year I've been kind of thinking about unique stuff, which is, different things like weird bottle openers. But the one thing that I was wondering, have you guys seen anything out there that talk about how to actually make beer and brewing things? Like we've in the past have talked about sort of those take-home kind of brew kits. But what other things around that have you guys seen?
Okay, so you can also do sort of brew sort of situations where you use people's facilities on a rental service, and that's often a really great option because if you don't have the kind of place where you're living where you've got a lot of extra storage space, that is to say storage space that can be used for containing fermenting fluids for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
One of these kind of operations is exactly that's what they're for. That's why.
Gift certificate for one of those places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can also get kits that are all grain, where the grain is pre-mashed. It maybe comes with a bit of a malt. What's the word I'm looking for? A malt base. And you can actually brew the beer, and it's not like just an extract kit like, say, Cooper's or anything like that. You're actually using real grains in the brewing process, and you can do it at home with minimal equipment. I think you can get those kits for like maybe between $100 and $120. You get it like a half decent kind of beer out of it, and it's a good introduction to all grain brewing. But for me, thinking about the beer lover on my list, there was a couple of things that I noticed. Beer swag. Phillips in Victoria, and I'm sure Phillips isn't alone. There's a lot of microbrews out of there, around in BC and elsewhere. But Phillips has quite a lot of swag available, like T-shirts, hats, belt buckles. They even have cycling jerseys. In fact, they have a cycling jersey that I really like. It's their Blue Buck cycling jersey. I'm quite a cyclist in the warmer months. I'd like to have something like that. It looks pretty cool, and it's quite eye-catching. Another thing that I think that the beer lover would like, I mean, we all use growlers, right?
Yep, always good to have another growler.
Always good to have another growler, right? So growlers present a couple of problems. Your beer in a growler, if you want to keep it cold, you got to put it in a fridge. Pretty much right away, right?
Fridge. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, as quickly as possible. So there's a product, and this is actually on my Christmas list. I believe I've sent you guys the link. But Stanley, the company that makes, like a lot of thermoses and stuff for like construction workers, they have come up with a growler. It's 64 ounces, and it's vacuum sealed, and it's like a thermos. And it keeps the beer cold that you get filled at a growler fill station for up to 16 hours. Now it doesn't keep the beer pressurized, so like a regular growler, it is still going to go flat within 24 to 36 hours. So I mean you're gonna have to drink it fairly quickly,
That's
but it will keep it cold.
believe that news.
Pardon? What was that?
It's awful. You have to drink beer quickly in order to keep it fresh.
Yes. So, which leads me to the next thing, and we've talked about this particular thing before, and I've sent you guys the link to it. But there's a company down in the States called UKEG, or pardon me, Growler Works, and they make a product called UKEG. And what it is either a steel-plated or a copper-plated growler that has a spigot on it, and it keeps the beer pressurized. So if you fill up your growler at your growler fill station, you take it home, you throw it in the fridge, and it keeps your beer fresh for up to, I think it's 2 or 3 months after purchasing. Now, it comes in different sizes, 64 ounces or 128 ounces, copper-plated or regular stainless steel. And it looks really cool. Brass fittings, it's incredible. The cheapest one, there's just a UKEG 64, which is just stainless steel plate, is $130 US. So it's a bit of an investment, but it looks pretty classy, I think. And,
I would agree. It actually looks kind of interesting.
Yeah. For me, I mean, the Stanley one, it's great for going to parties. If I'm gonna go to a party and I'm gonna be sharing my beer with a bunch of people, and maybe they're not gonna have room in their fridge, the Stanley insulated 64-ounce growler is a good pick, I think. That can be purchased for about $50, and I've seen it in London Drugs, Bed Bath & Beyond, and I believe I've also seen it at Mountain Equipment Co-op.
Cool. I gotta say, I'm impressed. I want more beer and more cool stuff, and I hope that I just hope the people listen and help us out to find our desires.
Okay, so that's a good thing. How does the beer lover out there tell their non-beer loving family, hint at them to get them this stuff when they maybe don't understand what it is?
So I think detailed description with, the place where you acquire the thing and when you acquire it, if you have to order it in advance, those details are often a good idea.
Right.
Add a chocolate to the message to make sure it gets received in the appropriate tone.
Nice.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
What is in this?
I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder exactly the same thing.
Locker, you've had 6 of these?
Beer, I just want to lay down now. It's like
I've had 2.
great.
I've had 2. Well, I haven't even had a full 2. I mean, I still got a little bit of my second one left. And you've had 6.
Yes.
How are you managing to stay upright?
With the hope that there's still another 45 minutes left of liquor store time where I can get 6 more.
Well, okay then. On that note, we obviously are having a love affair with the Hermannator. We've talked a lot about how you can be inventive with your gift giving for your beer lover. We've also talked a bit about how you can essentially drink Hermannator until you die, because it's that awesome. And there could be worse deaths out there. And also, I gotta say that kind of looking back in history and experiencing my or going through my memories to think about the experiences I had with Hermannator in the past. I gotta say, Hermannator dudes, Vancouver Island Brewery, if you ever get this far in this video, which I'm sure you will never will,
That's the spirit.
can you bomber bottle this? Because really, this is fine, but I don't know. To me, the magic has been diffused a bit. Sure, there are other companies out there and other breweries making similar products, but you know what? You had something, and I think that. It's just, and it's all packaging, but I've lost a bit of love for what it looks like, because the 6-pack is just not as sexy as going out there and grabbing a big bottle that just has some heft and some love behind it. So just in case you ever see this, make that happen.
I second that.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
me
good.
too.
So Locke, you're in town again, of course. The holidays are coming up. Where can people find you when they want to search for you online?
They can stalk me all over Vancouver as long as I'm in town.
Cool. What about you, Dave? Living in hell and gone land?
With that intro. Well, it'd be a challenge, but I do have Twitters, and I can be found at the Fool. That's the PHULE at twitter.com or whatever the hell it is.
Whatever. I don't know. I do stuff. I'm cool. Alan, how's it going, man?
Yeah, all right.
If somebody were to seek you out and hunt you down, where would they do it?
Well, I guess they go on
He would be
Twitter.
gone.
They would go on Twitter, and they would go to twitter.com/ at Shane B.
You're
That's
right. I don't
Shane
know what's
B. Or they can go to the Crafty Boys .ca or to our Twitter account at the Crafty Boys, and they can message all of us simultaneously.
That would be the ideal mode, wouldn't it?
I think so.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find me everywhere else at twitter.com/Shane B. And I want to thank everyone for doing this. Coming back again this week, Locke. You're amazing. We, of course, will be back next week. And probably the week after, too. You never know, because that's just how cool we are. I suspect the following week, the week of the 28th of December, we might not be around because we just might be busy drinking beer and not doing this. But
We'll do it. We'll do it.
We'll talk more about that later. So thank you again, everybody, and we hope that you spread the word. Tell everyone about the Crafty Boys, because we do this for the love of beer, the love of everyone that watches, and just beer. What?
Did you say every bun?
What's in this beer? What is in this beer? Quick, everyone, drink up.